we are fucking slow. Like stuff is sitting long on the market, right? And I'm like, even working with buyers, my buyers are like cash. The buyers I'm working with are cash investors, and they're like, Andrew, we're not in any rush. We don't think the bottom is anywhere near. And I'm like, I agree with you. Let's
Yeah.
let's negotiate your discount now. And
Yeah.
so I see like a valuation shift happening anytime now, and it could, in the next today to 90 days, and it
Yeah.
could be
And
significant. And
Andrew, the
so,
Florida market is the same way. I've been reading that Florida and Arizona are very similar because of the nature of our markets, whereby a lot of northerners will escape up north and come down south. But the Florida market is just like that.
Yeah.
However, we do
But
have
I'm actually seeing it in Philly. Like I have 5 listings they're not moving. They're like I have listings at different price points. I have a 268, a 264, then I have a 700 and a 600, and they're getting showings, but the showings are like far in between, and I'm shocked that these aren't flying off the market. It's like nobody's in a hurry, Andrew. It's like weird.
So
nobody's in a hurry.
when did you all notice the change?
I've noticed it for a bit. I've been waiting for it to affect the values, and it just values have really kind of stayed strong, and in some instances have gone up a little bit. In some instances, depending on location, have gone down a little bit over the last year. But month, week over week for the last 8 months, our inventory has gone up steadily. We were at like 15,000 units, and we're at 25,800 units now.
And how many units did you have back before COVID?
Oh, like our normal market is 30,000 units.
Right. Okay. So you're almost back to pre-COVID numbers. But so when did you start to see this sort of shift in I'll call it the pace of the market?
So yeah, it's been since okay, so COVID came and our market went nuts because
Right.
so much cash came in
Mm-hmm.
and interest rates were low. So anybody that was buying was buying, right? But now
Right.
rates, the affordability is a real issue here in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Like there's wage earners and their wages don't justify
Yeah.
a $450,000 starter home.
Andrew, that's exactly what's happened. I did an analysis in the middle of the night one night when I couldn't sleep. And I looked at the affordability index, meaning I took an average home in an upscale neighborhood, priced $450,000, and compared it over the last 5 years, assuming a 20% down, and applied the average price for that home and the average interest rate for that home. And the home ownership went from an average of $1,400 a month, and that's principal only, or sorry, principal and interest only, no taxes, no insurance. Went from $1,400 a month to $2,500 a month. And the fact is,
Yeah.
people cannot
You
afford
can't afford that big.
can't afford it
No.
anymore. Not to mention now taxes are up. Because everything is valued based upon that post-COVID number.
And your
Yeah,
insurance
food.
premiums are up too.
And Florida
Everything
insurance,
is up.
thank you, hurricanes,
Insurance premiums are
all
up.
that's gone up. Yep.
I mean,
So
we
don't
still do have in Florida. We still do have properties that are selling under 30 days and even under a week sometimes, depending on the property. I mean, obviously, a lot of the properties that are in need of some work are sitting for 6 months or 8 months, but other properties that don't need work and are in turnkey condition, those are getting sold really quickly. A lot of our
Not down
inventory,
here.
huh?
Not down here.
A lot of our inventory is also condos. I mean, we have all-time high inventory right now, but the majority of it's condos because people are exiting the condo market because they don't want to pay the condo fees and the exorbitant interest that's related to it.
Well, and then you have in Florida, you've got your phase one inspection since the collapse of that condo down in Miami now. Every condominium association more than 2 stories has to pass a full-blown inspection. And some of these condo owners, these condos have been sitting, on the beach for 30 years, are finding major $1 million plus rehab costs, $100,000 assessments to shore up these condos.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, just in downtown St. Pete alone, I mean, any of the properties that are built in the 80s or whatever, they're looking at assessments per unit of $500,000 or more.
Holy cow! Holy cow!
Right.
That's
Yeah,
How
all
much
amazing.
is the
different animals.
condo worth?
but I mean that aside, I mean the property value there. I mean those units they have the equity. If they, as long as they're free and clear, they could refi and pay that assessment.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Not that I would want to, but I mean,
So, but to the point though is I think what I was trying to get at is I think it's really a great opportunity for us to be like screaming from the rooftop, like, "Hey, I'm going to be out in front of, I'm the one yelling about, this market shifting, and let's look at your cash offers before putting the house on the market for 90 days, right? Kind
Oh,
of thing."
absolutely. It makes our offers, our market value offers that we're getting from these hedge funds that much more palatable.
And the reality is, if I took a listing today and the market shifted in 30 days, these people would probably have been better off taking a cash offer today from an investor that would close in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I mean, not saying that
That's
if the
part of our
market,
spreadsheet analysis for any of these cash offers. You always have to weigh in the carrying costs because, with the days on market in Philly are long now, like you're seeing them. I'm seeing like all my listings are 50 to 100 days on the market right now and they're not moving. So you look at those carrying costs, that offsets the fees that the hedge fund gives you. If I'm paying 4.9 to Zoom, for a fee, if it's sitting on the market for 4 months, what are those true carrying costs? Are they dropping?
I wanted to add a couple of other things that I've just come across. Insurance. In Arizona, we've never really had issues with insurance. Insurance, because of the companies have taken such a bath, they're starting to ask for either a roof cert or they want brand new the tile roofs. They're saying, hey, a tile roof has an age of 20, a lifespan of 20 to 25 years, and we're sticking to that now. So you either need to get a roof cert or we want a new roof put
New
on
roof.
because
Yeah, they're blowing. The insurance companies are blowing up deals. We're seeing that in Philly. My lender's he's all bent out. He lost 4 deals on the week before closing because the insurance company wanted a new roof.
Yeah, talk about that with all our fires that we have.
Yeah, with you out west.
But it's interesting to hear you guys. I mean, I just closed two, and I was worried that it took me 20 days to get it under contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we had through our trade-in here in Houston, the roof certs are hitting us, but it's really closer to the coastal counties where they really impact. But I mean, we have certain policies, let's take Allstate, for example, that will have a policy on a particular property, and then the house goes up, under contract. They will not renew that policy, even though I mean, they have the goods on the pricing of that house, and they will not renew their policy. So you have to go more of a tier two,
Yeah.
to cover it. And
that's the scary part is when
yeah,
companies won't reinsure,
they won't reinsure,
carry over.
or the buyers. I'm sorry, the sellers are having to give in some additional concessions just to cover the additional, riders for this stuff, just to get the house sold. So.
Yeah.
I mean, to your point, I mean, we're just talking about, what I'm seeing here in Houston is that the resale side is still got the headwinds. I mean, the new construction guys they're still buying stuff down. So they're 4.5%, 5 maybe, and they're discounting. We just did a house on a relo through Revenos. It was discounted $70,000. And they offered 4.5%. So I mean, clearly the resale didn't even come into scope.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just the reality of where we are. I mean, it's I do think it's the older. I mean, let's not get political, but the older cycle, the older regime, I think there's some changes trying to deregulate and loosen things up. So we'll see how that plays
See how
out.
it plays out. Yeah, and I see, like Jeff, you're saying you have the opposite problem. It is definitely a geographic, where we are in the country, what we're all seeing.
Marty, can I add something, buddy?
Yep.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be the Grinch right now on what you guys are saying. And I don't mean to call anybody out in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but you're focusing on the wrong thing. We need to quit worrying about what the market is doing. We need to decide how we're going to adapt to it. Because we got two choices. You can quit real estate or you can figure out how to adapt. And if the call is going to be a gripe session today, gentlemen, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I don't need this. If you want to talk solutions, I'm here all day long for us to find out better ways to approach people. But I don't need that negative in my head. I work every day to fight to control what goes in my brain, and I won't let junk go in. I don't watch the news. I don't allow pollution into my mind. I don't eat polluted food, and I don't let pollution go into my ears and into my eyes.
Yep, absolutely. No, like that's what I was saying is, we have our arsenal and our ability with these iBuyers and cash offers where I'm weighing each seller. Like if my seller says, I don't want my house is going to sit on the market for 90 days, let's look at your carrying costs, and the cash offer is my solution to get you your money now, or we'll do a trade in or a fix and sell or something else to get them sold. So we have all the tools in our toolbox to weather the storm. That's for sure.
Yes,
Marty,
Marty.
one thing we can do proactively for each of you that are in states that are having problems with insurance, you need to talk to your elected representatives and let them know how it's affecting business, because they are the only ones that can work with the insurance companies through your state insurance office to try to get better rates for what's going on. And I know in a lot of parts of the country, like Florida, it's a real issue, but you got to deal with it at the state level and the national level to have anything done.
Yeah.
Us complaining about it does nothing. We got to bend the ears of people who can actually do something.
Yeah, Campbell, I know you and I we've talked off and on, and even offline. I agree with you, but I do think there's a positive realization. This group does learn from each other. So bringing up issues,
Totally agree.
very respectfully to you. I mean, this group learns from each other. I think the tech stack that I'll just go back to Smarty from ground one. I think Smarty's kind of helped this group create an amazing tech stack of what we do, and grateful to Smarty and why this group has continued to grow. Gosh, I've been around Smarty 4 years now, something like that. So I do think there's an opportunity for us to learn. I agree with you. I mean, you just got to fight through the minutia out there.
Yep. Bill, I'm not saying stick our head in the sand. I'm saying bring the problem forward, but then go, what can we do as a solution? And let's talk about that. Because that's where the magic is.
Yeah, no, I understood, and I think there's opportunities out there. I do see. I mean, we're doing okay. I mean, is it like 2022? No, I mean, not everybody's hair was on fire and things were falling from the sky. So you just got to fight through it. I do think the cash offer, what we're kind of pivoting to, I think there's a real opportunities for that, and it's just really about messaging and positioning. So maybe that's a segue to talking through, our call today. I don't know.
Yep. No, absolutely.
I think how this all started out was a little bit of a survey of what's going on around the country. And I don't think there's anything negative or wrong with that. I think it's good.
I agree. Reality, we're sharing.
I always like to talk to my sellers, and I say, I network with agents all over the country, and here's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's bad, indeed it can go down the rabbit hole, but I think understanding what's happening around the country is a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're all going to have hurdles. I mean, California fires to coastal hurricanes and situations, and, maybe there's nuggets in here that we all can pick off and choose. I mean, gosh, we're fighting through. I'm actually seeing the market kind of pick up after the slow period. I mean,
Me too.
Our listings are getting some looks.
Indicators.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
But I don't know, like Campbell, and you guys may not have been on the Zoom initially when we started this kind of dialogue with Andrew and I. Everybody asked on the newbie course before you guys join, Smarty, tell me a little bit more about the stale listing campaign that you have. And we got into the stale listing conversation, and then light bulbs went off Because then
Got it.
Andrew's like, oh my God, I'm seeing a lot more listings sitting on the market for 6 months, right? So the stale listings is something that I'm getting a lot of success on right now. And what I told everybody is don't like Michelle said, she's the one that asked the question. She goes, how do you do it? And the first thing I said is you have to have thick skin, because when you make those calls and send them out, you'll get some realtors that get real ticked off or they'll get pissed at you. And you just have to have that thick skin when you have that conversation, but you turn those lemons into lemonade, once you start talking about what you could do. And the other thing I said to everybody was, it works so well, you got to drip it very, very slow. So Michelle's like, I'm glad you said that, Smarty, because she got a list of 500 stale listings she was about to pump into the campaign. I said, your world would have blown up. I only do 10, and I get 10 phone calls, and I'm talking to 10 agents about doing deals. That's all I can handle at any given time. So I may do 10 at a time, in a week, and try to get 10 deals done this week, right? With 10
So
10 listing agents.
what is the discussion that you have, or how does that go? Hey, you need to cancel your listing, or we're going to talk about that with your sellers.
Oh, for everybody that inside your CRM, you do have what's called a stale listing campaign. It's in the seller folder. That campaign is designed to go to a listing agent, not the seller.
Right.
So what I do to make it work is I have a filter in my Bright MLS that I filter in the Philadelphia area houses that are sitting on the market for a long period of time. It depends on how the market's going. Like right now, I do it. Like if I do Philadelphia, I did it on Saturday. I got like 1,600 houses that are on the market at least 120 days. So I'm like, I don't want that. So let me look at houses on the market 180 days or 240. So I play around with the metric to get a nice working list. So now I know the house is sitting on the market for at least a half a year, and it hasn't sold. But then the other parameter that I do is I do the age of the house. Because before I did it just on the days on market, I'd get the list and I'd get these brand new constructions from builders. Builders would have their model homes on the MLS for like 365 days or longer, right? So I always say, and then I also want a house that's a little aged or dated, because then the cash offer looks more appealing. So I'll say the house has to be built 1985 or like, it depends on what my metric is, how many I have. But I'll get to an older house, a list of houses that are at least 10 years old or more and 180 days on the market, and that's my working list.
But I'm sorry.
So hold on.
That's
I'm going to get to what you're asking for. So that's the first start. I mine my data. So now I have my working list. I load them all into the CRM and I tag them as agents, not sellers. Okay. Now I have that list in my CRM. That helps me downstream when I have listings. As AI certified agents, when we do our listing buddy in ChatGPT, it writes a marketing plan and it always gives you an email for buyers and an email for agents. So I have all my listings. I go into ChatGPT when I do my AI marketing, and now I have a ready-made database in my CRM of all the agents in Philly. So I'll do a house, just listed email campaign and send it out to all those agents. So it serves two different purposes. So
Marty, does your MLS let you download the agent email address?
Oh yeah,
I don't think,
absolutely.
I don't think we can. I don't think Stellar allows us to do that.
Call your MLS.
Stellar.
Call your MLS. Everybody should, because the agents put their phone number and email so you can call them from the MLS.
I'm licensed in North Carolina and Georgia, and I called both MLSs, and they said they removed that field from being downloadable because they wanted to prevent spam. So we can't actually download the email addresses.
It's our cooperative membership. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
They removed that field from both MLSs.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I have to go in and individually pull it.
Even reverse prospecting, we have to do it through the MLS one by one if we wanted to do it in seller. But I mean, I have a workaround for that. I mean, there's I just use a scraping plugin on Chrome to scrape all the emails and stuff, and it works. But I mean, you have to do some cleanup data with AI.
All right, let's let Smarty get through this.
John will teach a class on that.
Yeah, that's
Sounds like a class, Jonathan.
Yeah, I like that scraper.
yeah.
I need to stop volunteering myself.
We'll do a scraping workshop. But Michelle, what you could do is you could at least you got to have the agent's name and stuff though in the MLS. That's how you communicate.
Yeah, I can pull all of that out in
there.
the spreadsheet. I just can't get the email. That's all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I would skip trace them. I would skip trace those suckers.
Well, no, all the data's there, even the email.
Yeah.
It's just you have to be able to scrape it. At least in my MLS, you have to scrape it. You can't just download it like into a CSV file.
Same here.
A lot of, if you check with your state broker,
Yeah.
some of the MLSs, basically you can get a directory, and that's the best way to kind of reverse engineer. Ours updates once a month, but they've kind of gone back and forth with, sometimes the brokers only get access and then the agents complain and they gave it back to us again. But the brokers all have access to an agent level directory on MLS because they need the names of all the other, brokers for each of the smaller firms so they can get a hold of them if there's a problem between agents.
Yeah, they just want to be able to recruit. That's all.
Well, that part too. But yeah, it's I've had luck with because we used Chat GPT a while back to scrape that list to make a basically Facebook audience, so my ads weren't going to realtors for Wisconsin. Or you can actually go buy the list because some of the list brokers actually have it out there too. That's the third way, but I've built that list for a couple of people, so we've had to be creative in some circumstances where you can't find that directory.
So how do you get around the conversation when they're like, okay, so you can help out my client. Give me the name and phone number. Who is it you're talking about? How do you relay?
So let's I want to show something first, Sandy, then we'll go into the conversational stuff.
Okay.
So I'll just show you what I do, guys. And if your MLS allows you to do it, then you're good to go. But I go into my MLS, right? And then I'm Bright, and Bright is in 5 states. So if I don't put in the county or the city or the state or whatever, I'm going to get a shitload. I get Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Virginia, right?
Wow.
So I put just Philadelphia County. But if I also want Montgomery County, I'll do Montco, right? Montgomery County, PA. So I'll have 2 counties, right? So I pick my counties. Down here, I do a filter that is year, and then you have to do a plus or a minus. So I did 2010 minus, so it's going to be older than 2010. And then down here in the days on market, I did 120, but look, I got 1,062 listings that are in that situation. So now I'm going to start doing a little bit more. I'll say, let's do 240 days on market. So now I got 348 listing agents to talk to about cash offers. That's going to keep me busy the rest of March, right? So I'll be happy with that. Now, when I say results up in here, inside your MLS, you should have this capability if it's a decent MLS. I have the ability to build my own queries and my own spreadsheet views because it's just a list of homes that are listed. So I call it the Smarty View. Okay, Smarty View, I have MLS, address, and look over here, dates, price, and look over here, the listing agent's first name, last name, email, and phone number. And then all I have to do is down below, select them all, and then say export right here. So I do an export. That creates a CSV file, and then I'm going to load them into the CRM. I have a training course in the how-to course, how to load leads in the CRM, but I'm loading them in, and first name, last name, email, phone number, address, or basically the fields I really put in. I put in the beds and the baths, so I have it in the square footage. So now I have them in my database, 400 or 300 and whatever, 48 new houses in here to get offers. When I load them into the CRM, I tag them as agents. So now I know, because I now have my agent database for future marketing. But in the CRM, when you're ready to put them on the campaign, if you go into the CRM and you go into the seller folder, you'll see the stale listing automation right here. Okay, so the stale listing is based on a tag that's just called stale listing. Okay, so all I do when you're going to do the marketing is you load them in with contacts. You find your agents. So I do just the agents. So I have 474 agents, and I'm just going to cherry pick and grab some to send out today. So I'll grab.
How many people can you actually upload into your system per person?
I could load over 10 million.
Oh, so I mean, if I wanted to, hypothetically, I have that luxury.
Yeah, you can load everybody in. There's no limit to how
Okay.
many people you load in.
I'm just curious. Thank you.
Yep.
You don't want to.
Right? But I created smart lists for agents because when I have my listings, I do email blasts to the agents about the listings. You guys all get them in your inbox anyway. It's not spam. I don't know why your MLS, Michelle, would say it's spam, because it's not spam. We're all in the ecosystem selling houses. So I get them all day long. I get agents from Remax and Keller Williams sending me open house emails and just listed emails in my inbox about a house that's been sold. Right?
Smarty.
Yep.
You said something about you tag them with the agent tag. Aren't you also needing to tag them with the stale listing tag?
Yes. But what I do, Dana, is I'm not going to load 300 in here and tag them as stale listing initially, because when they start getting that communication, your phone rings off the hook. Okay. So what I've learned is if I'm going to do this, I'm only going to get like maybe 10. Right? I'll grab 10. One more, 10.
And Smarty, we talked earlier, are you screening these before you send them?
No, like at this stage, what I'm going to do, Tim, is I usually just send them out. And then when they start to call me, I have Falcon open. So when they call, I just put in the address and say, yeah, I got 6 offers for you right now. Let's talk about them.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily have to go into iList and get offers for all 10 before I send it out, because especially that we have Falcon guys, Falcon is really, really fast. So Falcon is just put
What's Falcon?
Falcon is the iList, the new iList platform.
Oh.
Where do we go to access it?
Yeah. I'll show it to you. But in any case, so Dana, going back in Dana, right here, there's a tag. So then in the tag, I'm going to pick stale listing like this. Grab stale listing and tag them. No, I'm not going to do it now because my phone's going to start ringing.
But then how do you just you have to mentally keep track of which agents you brought yesterday that you're going to have to send to tomorrow?
What you do, Sandy, is Dana, you go filters and you say tag is agent.
1 through 10 or something?
No, just tag as agent, and tag is not.
Second one.
Oh, is not stale.
Oh, because you only put stale after you sent them something.
Yeah, exactly. So these are all the agents that don't have a stale listing tag on them. So they're not in the campaigns. So that's how you manage it, Dana. You make a smart list.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
You send out the next 10. So you have two smart lists. One of agents that need, I have 340 I'm going to send offers to, and then another smart list is people I've already sent offers to.
Yeah.
Right?
So how do you cycle? So say you have 300 realtors in here, they're in here forever now. I mean, how do you, if they have another stale listing in the future when you're cycling back, how do you manage that?
I haven't run into that yet, Jonathan, but that's a good point. I mean, they may come back in.
Hopefully they'll call you again on the next
Call me
bad
again
deal.
if they get
Right.
it. Yeah, I've
Now
already
they got
sold
your
that house,
number.
Marty. Yeah, they'll just call me because you're sending it out to the seller. So, but I wanted to show you, like, if I grab like Ken here, and do I have Ken's information? Like Ridley Park Avenue is his listing, right? You were asking how to get Falcon. So if you go into your iBuyers platform, so this is my iList platform. Falcon is right up here in the menu. It's called Falcon Basic.
And what is it? I don't recall. Did we have a class on this? I must have missed it.
Oh, Joe's had seminars the last 3 weeks on it in iList. Do you ever attend the iList one, Sandy?
Oh, I didn't know he had classes. No.
You can go into, you just click on the help button there and it'll take you into the recordings of all the past.
Yeah.
Where's the help
so you
button?
can get caught up.
Inside
Right, the bottom right.
iBuyers on the right, Sandy, when you log into the iBuyers platform, there's a help and all the recordings are there. But
Okay.
let me show you how it works. This is Falcon. So all I do is I put in the address and I say go. Watch how fast this is. It's going up to Zillow. It's sending offers out to all the partners. Boom, boom, boom. In less than 10 seconds, I got all these offers to talk to the seller on.
Are we still using Zoodelia? I thought that was kind of an issue we were having.
I still have them on here as a talking point, but I'm not
Okay.
doing a deal with them.
So we would basically pass this on. When we negotiate with the listing agent, we just kind of put it in their court, or do we still have to be
Yeah, so now
involved?
let's talk about what happens. So I send out the communication through the listing for the stale listing. They're going to get a text message, an email saying, "Hey, I noticed your house your listing hasn't sold on the market. I may have a potential solution for you. Give me a call. I got a buyer that's ready to buy the property." Right? So the emails and texts that go out of the stale listing are just worded that in that kind of tone. "Hey, I noticed your listing on the market is not sold. I may have a solution for you. I got a buyer right now that's ready to, purchase the house. Give me a call, blah, 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 blah." Those listing agents are going to call you.
Or-
So when they call me, I now explain what I do. I represent large institutions. They're out of the West Coast, and they'll come in and give you an offer that's fair market value for the house, and we can close in 10 or 15 days. Okay? That's how the conversation starts. But then I have to be transparent with them. And I said, these kind of offers, I need to see the house first. So I'll set up a showing to go see the house. And based on the condition of the house, we may have an opportunity to get more money for the seller on the back end. But the way these programs work is it's a two closing payout. They're gonna buy it and then they're gonna put it back on the market. And there's a fee associated to it. So there's a program fee. And then that's where some agents are like, my seller will never take that fee. They're just going to stick it out and stay on the MLS. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thick skin. Next person calls me. Oh, my seller has been really frustrated. They need to move. They're trying to move to Florida, right? So I'm talking to them and they haven't moved on their property. And then I'll say, hey, let's sit down and talk. So I'll usually set up an appointment to go to the house, meet the seller with the agent. I'll take a tour, and then I'll sit at the kitchen table and talk about what the offer looks like.
How do you address the co-broker?
So the co-broker, that's the conversation I want to have for the listing agent before I even get to the seller, to the house. So I always talk about that, Tom. So that's where it gets really dicey, and you could have really good conversations, or they'll tell you to F off and hang up on you. So I said during the newbie course, guys, when we were talking about it, I had an older guy. He was probably in his 80s. In the first 60 seconds, he dropped over like 50 F-bombs on me. And he's like, go to hell, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I have a 3% listing agreement with this house. Unless you pay me 3%, I don't want to even present it to my seller. And I shut him up by just saying, hey, buddy, 3% of zero is zero. 1.5% of the list price in 15 days puts money in your pocket. So have a nice day. If you want to just keep it on the market another year to try to sell this thing, you'll get your 3%, but I can get you money in your pocket in the next 15 days. And all of a sudden, he was my best friend.
Smarty,
okay, let's talk.
They're required to present all offers.
Yeah, I said you'll give me 1.5% in 15 days. Yeah. So it's all how you present it to them, but they're gonna push back because they got a 3% listing agreement. But I say 3% of zero is zero. If you can't sell the house, you're not going to get paid.
So, Smarty, I noticed that it looks like there's a whole slew of Zudelio offers, and then there's a Zoomkasa offer. So there's really just two buyers. Is that it?
Yeah, and this here because I'm in Philly, so it all depends where you're at.
Okay.
Marty, is the new
Like if Bill Bexley puts an address in, he's going to get like Homeward and Easy
Yeah.
Knock, and he's going to get all these other offers. If Sandy, you put it in, you're going to get Homeward, Easy Knock. You'll get a bunch of offers.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I do. Easy Street.
Marty, what about the new investor that's we were just talking about 15%, I think 15 or 20% single transaction.
Yeah, so they're going to be speaking. I think in a week, or not this week, but I think in a week or two, Bill, I'm going to have them on to present their solution to you guys. We're going to train you guys up.
Is out of
This is
Chicago?
an iBuyer. This is an iBuyer that buys in all 50 states. It's a great partner. They pay 82 to 85% to the seller, one transaction,
That's good.
which is really solid.
Yep.
Really solid. If you think of a regular listing with 6% commissions, 94% plus closing costs, you're down at 90. So
Right.
it's a convenience play of like 5 or 7% convenience to do it now.
Wow.
And are you going to
That's
be
good.
able to, are they flipping the property so you get to relist it?
Yep. We flip it and relist it. You're gonna put it back on the market and represent them to sell it.
Yeah, I think the single transaction is a real winner in that conversation because that's where I get a lot of the headwinds in mine, and Smarty, ever since the whole SMS kind of debacle thing that we had, we were doing mass and then we said we're not going to do it. And then, I'm kind of at a place that now is could we do some of this to prep? Maybe, I'm at a place I'd like to maybe, to your point, do 10 at a time, maybe 20, 10 in the morning, 10 in the evening, and just work it at that really low volume level so we're not shut down to have these conversations. Because I found that we're doing email warming, that's good, but it's not as good as that SMS stuff.
No doubt. No, SMS is like a killer if you get it.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to blow up my, my numbers and all the other stuff. So I'm trying to figure out the conversation points I'm comfortable with. The two transaction going to one will be a huge value add, but then really just trying to re-engage that SMS, maybe at a really low volume, something just, I don't know. That's where I am.
Yeah. Well, plus if you guys are marketing to stale listings, you don't want to, I'm telling you, the response is unbelievable. You're going to get a lot of phone calls because they got the fiduciary responsibility to present the offer to the seller. So they're going to call you. You're going to have, if you send out 10, more than likely you're going to have 10 phone calls.
Yeah, that's a good number to it's a good number to manage.
On a daily basis.
You will get phone calls.
Yeah, think about it. If you did 10 a day, 7 days a week, that's 70 offers you're offering to these houses that aren't moving on the MLS.
Right.
You're going to have a pretty high close rate of those.
So going back to Sandy's comment, how do we shield them from doing this on their own and just cutting us out?
I never ever tell the listing agent who my buyers are.
Right.
Well, never tell your other agents about your buyer network.
Yeah, they'll go figure it out.
So how do you make the connection? How do you evade the whole process?
What they need is flexible.
So Sandy, I have 9 listings. They didn't go around me because I never told who the buyer was until we were under contract. So the offer came in and it said Trade In Holdings or Zoomkasa.
Oh, okay. So the offer comes in, it says Trading Holdings, it doesn't say Zoomkasa on it?
Correct.
Okay. So then, as far as I know, it's an investor called True. Okay, that works.
Yeah. Yeah, but never ever, guys, show your goods and say, "Hey, I got this player out here. Here's what I'm using." The listing agent's going to go right around you. They're going to do a search on, iList or Zudelia or Zoomkasa, and I get my own offer.
So you're using that spreadsheet that you made, right? For presentation?
Yeah. I build my own spreadsheet when I present to the seller.
What about to the listing agents?
For listing agent, I don't even make a presentation. We're just talking numbers.
Yeah, I would tell you on the numbers. I mean, presenting this to other agents, that sometimes is the bigger hurdle. You've got the two transactions, but these guys, and they it's kind of like their heads are spinning with the different alternatives, and
Yeah, that's why, Bill, though, now that we have the single transaction, 82,
exactly.
85, that's going to be all day long. I'm going to be floating these off to these agents every week, every day. Right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe I'll wait until that comes because that's a surefire, even for
that's a surefire. There's no complication. Yeah. We're closing and you get 85% of your house right out of the gate.
Yeah, I think that's a killer opportunity for
because if you think about it, if it's on the market for 6 months, they got carrying costs, right? Especially if you see they have a mortgage, they got mortgage, tax, and insurance, and utilities to maintain that house.
And then how much does fatigue cost?
Yeah, it's all that fatigue.
They're tired.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you come in and sweep it off and just close on the transaction.
Yeah.
All we have to do is make buddies with the listing agent. Say, look, I'm going to split the commission with you, right? Or give you 1.5% or 2%, but that's all you're getting. I know you negotiated at 3%, but it's not moving, guy.
True story. I had one. I'm having one closed today with trade-in that was a 2 transaction. The original seller had been on the market for off and on for a year and a half. I came in, and this was about a 380, maybe $400,000 house. What we did is we went in, we did the upgrades, refreshed the kitchen, new countertops, all that, painted the cabinets, the whole thing, about a $60K upgrade, and then came back and the house sold.
Yeah,
because she couldn't get it done. Because I saw the drag on the house. The house looked dated, and so they came in, they touched it, and it's closing today. She's happy.
That's why I really love the renovation sales that we had a couple weeks ago with what they do, if they're in your market. So we could bring those guys in to do the renovations.
Yeah, but I'd like to get that. I'd like to get the text going, just really, really trickle that stuff out, because whenever this new investor hits the market, is he in Chicago? Is that right? Am I
right? Yeah, Julian, you were asking. So we're gonna unveil it. We're gonna unveil it in the next week or two. So we're doing some Joe and I we're doing 2 things.
Charles, could you please turn your camera off?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The anticipation.
And
mute.
Sorry.
There we go. I got most of the mutes. So Joe, we opened up Philly with the iBuyer because he wants to do a lot of work in Philly. So this new partner, just to let you know who the partner is behind the scenes. Remember Zillow 2 years ago had their iBuyer platform where Zillow was buying homes on this estimate, and they did thousands of transactions across the United States. This was the money guy behind Zillow, right? So he's deep pockets, right? So deep pockets are in all 50 states. So Zillow ended up asking the money guy to start putting offers at the Zestimate, and that's when it turned off the guy. So the guy said, I'm not buying off his estimates. We don't trust your estimates. This is a true financial guy. So they do their own underwriting. They look at the comps. They're only going to give you 82 to 85% of what the likelihood of the sale price of the house is on the open market. So they're running their comps and saying we could sell the house at this price. So they didn't like the Zestimate. So with the Zestimate, they divorced from them. This is a couple years ago. They did a national partnership with a couple of the big brokerages, but they didn't get any traction because the brokerages, like Berkshire Hathaway is one of their big partnerships. Berkshire, with all the agents they had, nobody knew how to do cash offers. So when I told them about our group in the CRM and Joe told them about iList with the 1,000 agents that are using iList, this guy's ears went up. He said, how do I connect with this group? So for our CRM, he's going to speak to us in a week or so, and he's going to enable all you guys on a separate track. I hooked him up with Joe. Joe and I have had 2 meetings with him. We're going to wire him into Falcon here so that his offers show up in Falcon. Okay, so we're working on that right now on the Joe side.
That's awesome. What states is he working?
He's in all 50 states.
Oh, wow. That's
All
fantastic.
50 states. So he wants to enable our group in the next 2 weeks. So Tom and I are already lining up houses right now that we haven't underwritten a house with him yet. We're lining up our houses to send to him. They have a mobile app that you have to use. So you use their mobile app to take pictures. So you have to go into the house and take specific pictures for the underwriters. And then they underwrite the offer within 24 hours. Or less. So we're gonna cut our teeth on a couple houses here, and then we're gonna bring them on the master class on a Friday to teach all of us about how it works and get you guys enabled. You have to register your business on their platform, and you get that. You have to go through a 45-minute class, like they teach you about the offer. So Tom and I did the class last Thursday. So we got our class requirements out of the way, and then we got the mobile app. So we will get everybody in this group on board with this company, so we can start offering these single transaction 82 to 85% offers.
That's great.
It's a big deal.
If you think of Zoom Casa, they don't go above 50 or 60 most times, right?
Well,
If you think of Zudelia, they'll come in at like 75 or 80, at the highest. Most times it's 60 to 70%.
And I thought Zoom Casa wasn't even writing offers if the house is already listed.
Yeah,
Right.
Casa doesn't like them listed.
Yeah.
This guy has an offer for listing. Oh, and this guy too, it's pretty cool. They also have 4 different product lines. So they have a trade-in type program. So they'll take a client that wants to sell their house. They're looking to buy a new house. They'll give them the financing to buy the new house, just like Annie Mac does and some of these other guys. So they have like a trade-in type program. They also have, the straight one offer, 82 to 85 and walk away. And then they are adding an offer advantage program, which will feel more like a Zoom Casa Zudelia, where they'll do the double close if the seller wants it.
What is what is their fee?
So their fees are built into the offer, which is nice. There's no fees.
So you're saying they offer about 80% and that includes the fee?
Yeah. 82 to 85 is what they give the seller, and that absorbs their profit. Their profit for every deal that wants to be between 6 and 8%. So they build that into the offer, and they also give us 6% commissions. So all that's built into the
oh wow. So the seller above and beyond. So you can tell your seller, hey, you're going to get this, 80%, but that includes my fee and it includes their fee, and you can get this wrapped up.
Yep.
The only thing they'd have to pay is their own closing costs, I imagine, transfer tax and title and escrow stuff like
no,
that.
that's all in there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you think about how they're doing it, guys, it's brilliant how they do it. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just say the house is a $100,000 house and they're giving you 85% out of the gate. So the 85% is what the seller gets. They get $85,000. They walk away. The $15,000, a portion of that is their fee. They want to make 5 to 6% profit margin. They have the commissions that have to be paid and the closing costs and the make ready costs all in that 15%.
So the reality is that the worst scenario is 6%, 3 and 3 plus a 2% closing fee. So usually it's about 8%. So they're charging 15. So they're charging like 7% fee if you want to break it down and get clarity on it. Okay.
That's right. Yeah, because if it's a $100,000 house and you're charging 6% to sell the house,
and then they have their own closing costs.
And then there's closing cost of another 2%.
Right.
They're getting 92% for their house instead of 85% with us. So there's a convenience.
For the convenience of not having to deal with.
Yep, exactly.
Of course.
That's pretty aggressive because you got to put it back on the market then.
Yep.
Is that what they're doing? Is they're putting it back on the market?
Yeah, they put it back on the market.
And are they using us at that point?
Yeah, and Rory said that's why they walked away, because Zillow ended up buying on this estimate, Rory, and they lost $800 million. They got sued. They got
So
sued.
does everybody get paid on the first transaction regardless of the second?
Well, that's interesting. We've had like 7 meetings with them in the last week, and they're working through our comp plan for our group. And we worked it out where we're going to get a small percentage in the first transaction, and then get paid on the second when they sell it on the
I
open
see.
market.
Okay,
So they will pay us in 2 transactions.
okay. But the seller gets their money after the first.
Seller gets everything, and they walk away.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
nice.
that's what's gonna help. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, sellers walk away. You're going to love this partner. They're good, and they're nice people. They're super nice. So
Let's hope they do
That
what
sounds
they say.
amazing.
Turn on our
we'll get them on
probate
board.
lead
There's a whole.
generation.
We're working through all the onboarding. There's like a whole onboarding process. So you got to go through their training and the marketing. They do branded marketing for you. You have to send them your logo and your picture, and they have a whole website with marketing material, and it's just a big company. They have a process to get you into the system.
Okay, so I apologize for asking this again. I was down at the Superior Court and I had to get to the window. When you have the discussion with the listing agent, how is it that at what point are you taking the house off the market?
Oh, only when we agree on the deal, we're going to move forward on the deal.
Okay, so once you're like, everybody's agreed on figures, you're going to cancel your West USA listing. It goes, and then you do everything under your business.
Yep.
And how does the other guy get, comfort that you're going to pay him? How does that?
We do. We have to sign a co-op brokerage agreement between both of our brokerages. What I'm paying them.
Like
Okay.
a one-day show kind of thing?
Not necessarily 1-day show, because it's just we're taking it off the market. So, it's just a regular like Zoocasa and Zoopdelia the same way. They just go right to the seller and write up an offer.
Oh, I didn't realize you took it off the market. I thought that our buyer just goes ahead and writes an offer and you just represent the seller.
No, just to make it easier, because there's no buyer's commission. So if you think of a regular offer, Sandy, at $100,000 and there's 6%, 3% are going to the buyer's agent, 3% to you.
Right.
There is no buyer in this situation. The iBuyers is just providing cash to buy the house. So they're not paying themselves or paying me as the buyer's agent.
They are paying you as the buyer's agent.
There is no buyer's agent. None of these are buyer's agents. So the seller, the hedge fund buys the house and they pay you a commission when it sells.
So why would, yes, I'm not really clear why it has to be canceled, why they wouldn't just write the normal contract.
Because you just take, it's not a big thing, Sandy. You just take it off the MLS. They just go in the MLS, they cancel it. That same night, we're sending listing documents. They sign, they're not listing documents, but a agreement of sale. They sign it. We're under contract.
Okay,
It's because you're using the buyer's contract and not not your state form.
Which could make people feel a little uncomfortable, but okay.
Okay, so that at least that makes sense now.
You're simply being a facilitator and offering the seller options.
Yep. Yeah, they write the offer directly to the seller. Like when I don't set up a buyer's agency agreement with the hedge fund. Like I have a bunch of Zoodelia and Zoomcasas. Not one of them am I a buyer representing them as a buyer's agent. They just went right to my seller, went under contract, but then in the contract it specifies that I'm the one listing the property. And then when we go to list it, I have an official listing agreement in Pennsylvania with these hedge funds
for the second,
for
second
the transaction.
So how did the original listing agent get paid?
It's all based on your negotiation, Chris. So I'll usually split my commission that I'm going to make on the deal with the listing agent.
Or it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if they're not happy with 1.5% that you agree to co-list on the back end with them or pay them an extra point when you close on the back end.
Exactly. It's all based.
Yeah, but if you're looking at an original 2.5 point, if they are only offering 2.5 for the get-go and you're splitting it and you got to do 2 transactions, that just seems like a lot of work for little money.
No, yeah, but you don't know what else you can do. You know, use your
Sandy, you're a listing agent. Yeah, you're a listing agent with 2.5%, Sandy, and your house has been sitting for 6, 8 months, 9 months, almost a year. It's not.
No, I agree. 0.5%, 1%, anything is better than nothing. I understand.
Exactly. So it's how you have the conversation with the other agent. I put them in their place. They'll yell at me and I'm like, look, dude, 2.5% and nothing is nothing, man. You could ride this for another 2 years. This house isn't selling. If you
True.
want it moved, you're going to work with me and we're going to put some money in your pocket in 15 days.
Yep, I agree.
Like, shit, I want to buy that new motorcycle. That sounds really good. Smarty, I'll take that 1.5%.
That's what I should say. I just sold my motorcycle.
Rory?
Smarty, who is your contact at AnyMac Cash for Keys?
I use Jennifer DeLuca.
Do you know where she is?
Yeah, she's mostly west or east coast. She covers like Delaware, Maryland, Philly,
Okay.
like PA. I could make an introduction to her for you, and she could tell you who your counterpart would be in your neck of the woods.
I would appreciate that. I've tried to reach someone and I have not had any success.
Yeah, I'll shoot you an email introduction to Jennifer. She'll set you up straight.
Cool, man. Thanks.
She's Fannie Mae.
She's she's Annie Mac. Annie with an A.
Rory, what she'll do though, like when I reached out to her, she's like, when you have somebody that wants that program, then reach out to me and she'll make the introduction. She'll wait until you need it and then she'll make the introduction for you.
Hey, Smarty, can I add something for the sale listings and then an email script that's working phenomenally right now that I would love to share? So I don't know that I've reached out to as many sale listings as you have, but I too have experienced the very angry recipients. One thing I've found to soften the blow in many cases is to say right up front, either on the phone call or even on the text, that kind of like takeaway selling or reverse psychology. Hey, this is probably not going to work for you and your client, but blah, blah, blah. But, I have an out of town client, or, whatever phrasing that you were saying works great. Would it make sense for us to chat about it or something like that? So you're already taking it away, and you'll still get people that are annoyed. But I've found that when I changed that piece of it, I got people that were at least more polite.
They're all
when it was something that they weren't interested in.
Because
and then I would also encourage.
They're probably thinking, well, why don't you think it would work?
Right, exactly. Like, hey, this is probably not going to work, but my client is asking me at least to reach out, or whatever you want to say that you feel is whatever,
it's great.
ethical and
that's a great approach. My client asked me to reach out.
Magic words for real estate would be, I don't think this is for you and your client, but
yeah. And then I have been trying to figure out for months, how do I get someone from looking at their dang iList dashboard into a conversation more predictably and consistently? Does anyone else struggle with that? Or is it just me?
I think, Josh, that's something that we all do, because when they see the numbers,
well, here's the first thing that I've come up with. Yeah, well, here's the first thing that I've come up with. That is, I've done this the last 2 months, and it is the first time, besides like there's the small percentage that, they're just ready to go, right? But a lot of these folks are just curious or whatever. And so the last 2 months, what I'm doing, and it's work, because I haven't figured out a way to automate it, is every person that looks at their dashboard. So I do a monthly blast to get people to come back and look at their dashboard. And then 24 or 48 hours later, or essentially the next morning or the morning after that, and I typically try to drive them to their dashboard early in the week. It's the seller theme right? But I'm doing it slightly differently than the CRM, but it's the same gist. I'm sending it early in the week, once a month, usually early in the month. So for example, I sent it I guess I didn't send it March. I guess I sent it last week, not March 3rd. I typically send it the first Monday or Tuesday of the month, but regardless, 24 to 48 hours later, I'm sending essentially like a survey email, and I'm making dinner for the kids, but I'll find the text and I'll drop it in the chat. But it's essentially, it's an all text email, and it just asks, I have A, B, C, D, E. Which of these is most accurate as to why you were curious about the value? And I'm not getting overwhelmed by replies to that, but I'm getting more response than to anything else I've tried. And I've already gotten, I haven't actually taken a listing yet, okay, transparency. But I've had 3 people commit to me where, one, they're building a new home in New York. And so they're waiting to see on the timing of when that will happen, but they've already agreed that they're not even interviewing other people. And then I've had 2 others similar to that where they're relocating or whatever. So the timing's not perfect, but I'm getting them to engage with me and basically commit to doing business with me when the time is right. And so it at least for me, it feels like, at least some kind of win versus just, vanity metrics of, how many people can I get to look at the dashboard, and how high up the leaderboard on Joe's iList dashboard hits can I get, and turning it into actual opportunities.
Josh, I like it because you're presenting options. It's very easy for them to come back with A, B, C, D. You're giving them the answers, basically. Yeah. They just click one.
Yep.
If you just give an open
yeah. So here's the cool thing. Most of the people replying are choosing the option is, I'm going to sell in the near future. It's just not, the timing's not perfect right now. I've also had some people that say, I'm trying to figure out how much equity I have because I might be interested in getting a HELOC or something like that. So I'll give me 5 minutes and I'll drop the email script into the chat. And then, so the next iteration is I've got to come up with other similar ideas because I can't do that every single month because I'll have repeat people coming and it'll kind of get redundant. So I'm thinking if I have 2 or 3 or maybe 4 variations of a 1-2 punch like that, it will create more predictable results from the people that are hitting that dashboard.
You could also score them, and then
that's a great point.
Yeah, we can do. You guys could do scoring inside of the CRM. You set up your scoring rules. You could have different buttons, Josh. So if they click A, it's 1 scores, 2, 3.
Yep, that's a great call.
You could build it out. But Josh said something that was very relevant. Like he had sellers that said, because he did this, and this is what I find, it's not them about accepting these offers. That's like, these offers are like only, maybe 10% of the people are going to accept those offers. But what about the other 90%? Yep. If you get this in front of them and you talk about, I don't necessarily talk about the numbers. I talk about the solutions. So I'm ready to list a $1.2 million house, a gorgeous house. The guy looked at his offer about 2 months ago, and I got to the kitchen table. I didn't show him any numbers, but we talked about my 5 columns. And as I started talking to him, I found out what his motivation was. As Tom says, peeling the onion, you learn about what's going on in his life. And as we started looking at it, I started presenting, have you heard of my trade-in program? Have you ever traded in a car? Oh, I traded a car all the time in my life, Smarty. I'm 50 years old. I've had like 10 cars, right? I trade them in after 4 years on a lease or whatever. I said, well, have you ever heard of trading in a house? And he's like, no, you're the first agent that told me this. He's talked to 5 other agents. And then I said, and I also have if you want a quick sale, I have a cash plus offer that we can get you cash in 15 days if you want to go down that path. But that has a fee behind it. And as I'm talking to him, he quickly said, Smarty, you don't have to, you had me at a low, he said. He goes, I'm not interviewing any other agent, whether I put a for sale sign in the front yard or one of these solutions. You're the guy that brought the creative solutions to the table. You're listing my house. So I'm listing his house, but we went through Annie Mac. He went with the trade-in program. So I contacted Jennifer, and he was able to get his equity. And he just literally last Thursday went under contract out of a new house. And he called me, he said, all right, we're under contract in a new house. I want you to start listing my house the end of March, early February, or early April. But it was that, because we're offering these solutions, you should knock every other agent out in your town where they don't want to consider anybody else to sell their house but you, because you're providing these solutions. And don't get hung up where they didn't take my offer. That's not what that is about. Only a few people does this make sense. The house that I keep talking about, the $600,000 house, she needed to take the offer because she was a week away from it. She had $100,000 tax lien on her house, and the court date was next Thursday, kind of thing. So I was able to save the bell, and she took the offer, right? But most of them are either going to be a trade-in or a fix and sell or another solution I have, not just a cash offer.
Marty, we're trying to use this to generate conversations. If someone puts their hand up, like Josh said, right, is there a way that we can train the AI bot to contact them and set up a 15-minute appointment? Is that a way? Can we do that?
To say that again, Bob?
Can we train our bots to reach out with a voice call to book an appointment with us, 15-minute call?
So the AI inside the CRM doesn't do outbound calls dynamically yet, but it's planned, Bob, so it should be here soon. Go high level with what we did last Friday with the call list and the robo calls that we have in the system, which I want to get into that conversation in a little bit now too from Friday. But now that we could do the outbound reach calls, they do plan to add the chat bot to it so it can make that outbound call and try to set up an appointment. And you would train it, Rob, like you said, train it to try to book an appointment.
I realize this might get me ostracized and thrown out and yelled at, et cetera, Rob, but what I would caution you is if someone replies to the email with the answer, that letter C, you personally continue that conversation on email. And I'm saying that from lots and lots of years of personal experience of being able to convert email conversations, but they have to happen authentically. And in my opinion and experience, if you take someone from replying to, and I did put the email, it's just in a Google Doc in the chat, but my personal experience, if you immediately jump from person on email replies C, for example, and 5 minutes later there's an outbound call trying to schedule an appointment with them, at least in my market, that will do more harm than good.
Oh, I agree with you, Josh. I wouldn't use the outbound calls for those people that are replying to me in email or text. I want to have that personal touch. I'm reaching out to see when they're available for me to see them.
Yeah, even the AI guys, Nick and Chad, those guys talking about AI, it's still not as good as it is. It's still not. There's the nuances that it still cannot read, or there's certain things it can't do, and the intuition side of that, it's pretty sterile. So I agree.
No, what everybody should be doing, guys, is when I talk to these sellers, if you don't have the Dub app on your phone, you're missing out. I just do a quick Dub video. Hey, Mr. Smith, you just replied to my email. And I shoot a personal video to the seller about what we just talked about on email or SMS. That goes a long way because now they're seeing your voice, they're seeing your face. Right?
Could not agree more.
It's not an agent, it's not a robot, it's me talking to them. And then they reply back and like, hey, that was pretty cool. So that's just one thing I do in marketing. And then when they watch my video, I also have a playlist of all my music videos. So I'll have a seller watch my message to them. And then in Dub, I get notice. They watch this play song for this house. And now they're messaging me back saying, man, that's a really cool way. I said, this is how I market the houses. And they're like, Smarty, you're the only guy I want to list my house. I said, what genre do you want? I'm coming over to scan your house. Well, do you want a Billy Joel? Do you want a rock? Do you want a Jay-Z? Let's create your music video.
This may be simplistic and obvious, but to me, all of the AI stuff currently is way more valuable to create more conversation opportunities than it is to turn the conversation into a client.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's not transactional. I mean, it's not a transactional tool yet. It's to your point, create that. And
yeah,
I agree.
They see what we do with AI, like
right.
Decorate the photographer's pictures with furniture and put a baby's room together, and do music videos. That's what they want to see. What you have the capability of doing.
Yeah,
me with my dub video and me texting them and have an email conversation with them that is getting me the appointment and the deal.
We literally just did an analysis because we've been doing some AI stuff, and I ran the stats on our website and what we're looking at. And when I can see spikes specifically when we run videos about, specific house, and it's really the AI or having the jingle, something along those lines. And then it really interestingly, we ran some stuff on, it was a thanks to vets, to VA. And that just and I'm just passing it on. We had specific spikes around those two types of posts. So videos and VAs were well received, at least for us, when we sent stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by a VA, Bill?
Well, we did a deal with a VA, and we basically, hey, we told a story through some posts about how we, we're able to help veterans, and we support veterans and thanks veterans, and and how the story worked, and but it was a little bit of a storytell on our post, and I mean it got some hits. So again, it just creates that awareness, branding, I mean, I saw stuff that was shared just when I'm looking at the Google Analytics to our site. Bless you.
Bless you. Yeah. To your point, and I'm sorry, I can't tell who's talking.
Bill. Yeah.
Bill. I too have had some tremendous reach on text only story posts, which I used AI to help me craft with a good hook at the beginning, and just telling the story of how we just set a neighborhood record, or how we helped folks that had been denied by 3 other lenders and had 2 realtors quit working with them, things like that. If you can, and the value of the AI in that is, in those cases, me just literally talking to the AI and saying, asking it to turn it into a text-only narrative, and then obviously going back and cleaning it up. But that is working really well on Facebook and on Nextdoor. Just text-only story. And if there's several examples on my Facebook for anybody who's curious, my personal Facebook, and they're getting pretty significant traction.
Josh,
Nextdoor can be a little bit of a cesspool, but it was. I'm sorry. One great story about Nextdoor. I mean, Nextdoor can be just a pain in the butt. People commenting and so forth. And so one of them, there was a whole comment like crap storm where someone started by flaming me. Actually, it's happened twice now, where people basically kind of attacking me or what I was saying, and then commenters coming to my rescue, people that I don't even know or have any relationship with. So, and I think it's because of how the story was crafted, though. It wasn't an ad. It wasn't marketing. It was genuinely just trying to tell a good story about helping clients.
Yeah.
Josh, before you go any further, the follow-up on the email that you send out, what is that first conversation like on the phone? How do you crack the nut open?
I don't.
You don't?
Well, I don't know that I've had a phone conversation with any of them because it's an email. And so I'll give it the very first time that I sent it out. Not like the first email I sent, but the first batch I sent was, I don't know how many people hit my dashboard, but let's say it was 75. It's not like I got overwhelmed by responses, but one of the first responses, they said C. And I simply replied by email and said something. Well, I'll find the actual conversation, so I'm not ad-libbing here. But it was an email conversation where basically he asked me for the appointment. Now I would have asked at some point, but he asked me or said something to the effect of that it might be good to get together and just talk through their scenario and about values, etc. And we sat down, and it was very much like what Smarty described. I came prepared. I showed them options. I showed them what I found to be the most relevant comps. I showed them proof that that I'm good at what I do. And we had a wonderful conversation. And then later that day, they emailed back and said, just so you know, my wife and I have decided that we are working with you. We're not even interviewing other agents.
Yep.
And so that one is ready to go, but it probably, that's the one where they're building a new home close to family in New York. And so we probably won't be listing their home till around Memorial Day. But literally, I don't know that I've talked to them on the phone at all. And I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't ever pick up the phone, but if you immediately pick up the phone when they reply, in my experience, that often does more harm than good. I think it's best to keep the conversation on the channel that it was started until the only natural progression is a phone call or an in-person meeting.
Got it. Makes perfect sense.
Oh, perfect sense.
Sounds like,
and it does require being patient.
Go high level, guys. To your point, Josh, they just announced. I don't know if it's in our system yet. I've been looking for it, but they announced it on Friday. Is the new web chat widget that we have now is multi-channel web chat widget. So when somebody comes to your website, they could say, "I prefer to you just email me," and they craft an email on the website to send to you. Or I'd prefer you texting me. They send a text message, or I want to chat. Let's do a chat conversation. Or WhatsApp.
Interesting.
So it's going to now have a multimodal, but like to Josh's point, if they're communicating you through email, stay on email until you get the appointment. Right.
And I will say that email requires patience because email is not it is a slower communication platform. Generally speaking. Now you can get people that are, replying back real fast, but generally speaking, they're not going to respond as quickly as a text conversation or even like a DM conversation in many cases. But that silence doesn't mean that you've lost them. It just might mean that, they went and now are making dinner, or they can't check their personal email at work or whatever. But it is important to have reminders or things in place so that those email conversations that do fall off, that you've got reminders in place. Like, for example, this is like a silly, super simple thing, but in Gmail, I don't know if this is a setting I have, and maybe I need to look more at this, but if you say, let me know in an email and someone doesn't respond, usually in 3 days, I get a reminder from Gmail that says, hey, do you want to nudge this person?
Yeah, that's a feature of Gmail, which I love. It's like a reminder. Yeah. You send something to somebody and they haven't replied.
Right. So there are some little tricks or hacks that you can do to make sure that, those low-hanging fruit. Because in a lot of cases, when I then say, hey, just making sure you saw my last message, usually they're like, oh, yeah, I did miss that. Or, I'm so sorry, I got busy, or, I got sick, or whatever the case may be. But usually, that little bump then we'll continue the conversation in one way, shape, or form. I'm trying to find this actual email conversation for some additional context, but I'm struggling to find it. I'm sure I'll find it before we're done.
Yeah, so while you're doing that, Josh, let me just show everybody, like I just copied Josh's email, right? So if you want to make that email tonight to use the first one to go out when they check your website, let me show you how to do it. So you come into marketing, you come to email templates. Actually, let me go a different route first. Let me just see which one's going out. So in the seller folder in automations, there is a campaign that says seller checkout values emails. So this is the cash, and now we have one for home value. So you'd have to edit two if you want. But if you come over here, that's the first email that's going out. You could edit the email and just do this. Boom. Now I have the quick question. And then I use instantly, it's going to try to correct it.
Smarty, I've not had anybody enroll in that plan. Is there something that we have to do to make sure that plan triggers? Because mine is active and it's deployed.
Yeah, let's take a look at everybody's to make sure you're good to go. So let me just do this.
I did find it, and I think there's a valuable lesson in it for sure. So when you're done.
Right. So see, guys, that's all you have to do is if you want that first email to be, hey, answer A, B, and C, I just showed you how to do it. So now any seller that checks their values on Smarty's site, they're going to get Josh's A, B, C, D, right? I have my Gmail go into my inbox in Gmail. So when they reply, it'll be on my phone. It'll go right to my inbox on my Gmail phone.
Marty, I saw something in there about the address. Did you need to put the address in that email?
Yeah, like what I would do is I'm going to edit a little further before I'm done. But what I would do here is I'd get rid of this button. Well, I left the button to schedule a call.
Mm-hmm. But up further, there was something where it said your property at above. See, looks like you were checking out the value of your property at.
Yeah, you need to put a value there, right?
You need to put a value there?
Yep.
So it would be street address. Yeah, I had merged in that template.
Yeah,
I had merged in the street
what you do up
address.
here, guys, is you hit the three dots and you hit this guy here, which is called custom values. So three dots in this, and then you're going to go to the contact and you're going to get the street address. So now it'll say you're looking at your home value at, and then the
123 Street.
Smarty, wouldn't you want to build that in the marketing place and then add it so you can track it better? Because you told us earlier that it's better to build it as a template and then add it to the workflow. So
this is a template. So
okay.
what I just did was I just took this email and I just edited it to use this template instead of the one.
So now it's saved in the template file.
It's saved in the template file, so everybody that comes through this workflow is going to get this.
Got it.
Right.
And that was 24 hours after they contacted.
So in the workflow, no, I only wait 5 minutes. You can put whatever weight you want, guys. So
John was talking about 24 hours roughly, so that's why I was questioning.
yeah, no, like well, if you want to do 24 hours, you could do it this way. You could say 24 hours. Right. So now
all I can speak is to my experience. And because I have been doing it manually, I let they generally speaking, because I'm blasting it out one day, most of my console hits happen that same day. So then next morning, or if I'm busy, the following morning, I'm doing it manually. But you could have the automation do it. What I can't tell you is, would it be better to have it happen 5 to 10 minutes after or the next day. I'm just saying that's how I've done it because I've been doing it manually. Just because anytime most times where I test something new, I do it manually first to determine, like, is it even worth trying to figure out if I can automate it? Because I will say also flatly that I've found in many different applications and examples, etc., that when you automate something, it doesn't ever work quite as well as manually doing it. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't, as long as the results are still good enough when you put the automation in place. But that I'm just explaining why I started the way that I started.
Would there be A/B testing this?
Yeah, you could A/B test it, no doubt.
Hey, Josh, you think it would be of any value to put a button in that email so that they can recheck their home values?
Personally, it should be just text. If you want the greatest deliverability, which means the most likelihood of them to actually reply, I personally think it should just be text.
To that point, regarding the email deliverability, just text, are you guys seeing it being more readily deliverable? Because when we did the test email earlier, Smarty, I noticed it ended up in my promotions folder. Is that a result of me needing to do more email warming, or do I need to delete the header?
It's a couple things. Like I ended up removing all the email headers from my email, and that made a big difference. Because if you have images in the top of your email, like you had, Michelle, that looks like a promotional email. Like what Josh said, if you don't want a button, you just you highlight this guy and you hit the delete. So now there's no button. It's just text.
Okay.
So they would have to reply to this.
They would have to reply to it.
Well, but here's the benefit of that. Any and every time someone replies, you're making your email warmer.
That's right.
And when people there is nothing more that you could do, nothing more. It's what instantly does. That's how they're warming your email. They're sending emails and then they're replying to those emails. That's what makes your email warmer. But then it's an actual reply from an actual person. So every time you do that, you're organically increasing your email deliverability.
Okay, that makes sense.
Marty, don't leave that screen yet. Go to the very top step there. The very, very top. All the way up. Show us what your trigger is for new home value clicked.
So let me show what we're going to do here. Let me show you what we have to, everybody has to audit because this is a go high level glitch. So every workflow has triggers. So I want everybody on this Zoom. Let me go all the way out. We'll start from the beginning. All right, you're in your CRM. We'll start all the way out there. Let me refresh. On the menu, I want everybody to go down to automations. Is everybody with me? You're going to hit this ProEdge V5 automations folder, my folder where all the automations live. And you want to come down here to the seller automations. Click to open that up. What we're going to do is we're going to hit, let's do the home value first. So on the home value, check out home value emails. So this is a workflow that's going to listen to anybody that gets an email from you and clicks to check their home value.
ProEdge Seller.
You're going to click to open that up. At the very top, every workflow has triggers. There's a trigger that's called home value is clicked. You need to click on that. And I emptied this out to show you. Yours may look like this. It'll say trigger link, and then over here it says select. Does everybody see that?
Yep.
Campbell?
Yep, that's the one I'm missing right there.
Right. So you want to type in the word iList. or start typing in iList, you'll see 2 trigger links.
iList home value.
Home value, you're going to select it, and then at the very bottom, say Save Trigger. And at the very top right, you're going to say Save Workflow. Make sure your workflow is published. There's a button that says Publish. It should be blue.
That's why nobody's in there. Damn it.
Yep.
Could you do that one more time? I turned my head for a second and didn't see it.
So you grab the trigger, and then in this field here, it says Trigger Link. If it was empty, Tim, you just type in iList and put it to the home value.
It's already there. Okay.
Hit save. And then make sure you save up top. Now we're not done. You need to hit this on the bottom or the top left. You're going to hit back to workflows. And we're going to go to the next one, which is the cash offer workflow. Now this one, I want you to do 2 things because this is the original one. I couldn't remove stuff for you guys. So first hit this home value one here.
Hold on, Smarty. We're looking for it.
So if I come back, if you're in the folder, if you just in the search window, if you type in the word check, like checked. See how I just did a search on all the workflows? Yep. I just put in check. There's 3 of them.
Out values and offers.
Right. So we want to do the values and offers. At the very top, I want you to hit the home value one. Do you see the home value one?
Yep.
See the little delete button down to the bottom? Hit delete and then say delete.
Because this is only for cash offer.
This is only for cash offers.
Can you say that?
You made a separate one.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Marty, what did we delete? Did we delete the trigger?
Yeah.
The trigger, yeah.
Because we just did it in a separate.
Because otherwise, you can have them in 2 workflows. If
you can have 2 workflows fire when they check their home value. You don't want that.
So you said delete the home value one, right?
The home value one.
Show me what it looks like now since you deleted it so I can
Now that
compare.
I deleted it, it should look like this, Tim. So it only has 1 trigger and it's called cash offer clicked.
Yeah, that's all I have. Okay.
So now when you click on this one, if it's empty here, like mine is, you're going to click and just type in the word iList and you're going to pick the iList cash offers trigger.
Which is what's there. Okay.
And you're going to hit save trigger. And at the very top, hit save workflow.
Okay.
So now anybody that gets your emails that checks their cash offers will go into this email or this automation and it'll start sending them the text and stuff.
This morning, I also have right below it says assign seller to hot seller board. I didn't see it on yours. So
Yeah,
where you have SMS one, I've got it says assign seller to hot seller board. So that's just putting in a
you're in the SMS one. You're not on the email ones, Tim. You're in a different workflow automation.
It says emails.
Smarty, actually down in that one, way down on the left fork, there is add hot seller cash board down at the very bottom step.
Oh, right here, yeah.
Did I have it in the wrong spot?
I think we may have to fix this on everybody. So I do it up here already. So do you have at the very top, do you guys have the create cash offer hot lead?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got that.
All right. What you have to check here, everybody, Campbell and everybody, make sure your pipeline is not empty and your stage is not empty.
Keep the one at the top or the one at the bottom, Smarty?
Let's just work with the one on the top.
How do you get to the screen that you're looking at with the pipeline on the right?
Not there.
So if you're down here, Campbell, everybody just scroll up until you get to the top. You could use your cursor to scroll. You want to get to the top of the workflow where the trigger is.
Yep.
There's a right here, the second box down says create cash offer hot lead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Make sure that the in pipeline and stage are not blank.
They are.
So what you're going to do if they're blank, you're going to hit this drop down and type in the word cash. You're going to put them in the seller cash offer pipeline. And in the next field, just pick hot lead.
Okay.
Hey, Smarty, you've got a step up there that says assign seller to SMS, and I don't have that in mind.
Oh, that was a training that I did. This is optional for you guys. If you want them to get SMS text, you're gonna want to set this up. So let me delete it. I'll show everybody how to do that. If you want to turn on your SMS campaign, so I'll show everybody how to do it. So
Marty, we need to do what you just did on that second box there.
Yeah.
And,
So before we do the SMS, if you ever scroll all the way down,
I have an extra box out under the trigger. I have add cash, and then I have create cash, and then I have check email D&D. You only have 2.
no, that's down here. That's further down. We all have the same workflow, Sandy.
No,
So
I'm at the very top. You're at yeah. So you got 2 right there. You only got 2. I got 3.
That's the same thing that happened to me. I just deleted mine.
So which the one I have that you don't have says add to cash offer SMS campaign. Is that what you're adding right now?
the add to the cash offer campaign.
That's what I have, and you guys don't. Is that what you're showing right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I already have
First,
it.
get rid of the one on the bottom, right, Smarty?
Yeah. So at the very bottom, we can get rid of the one at the very bottom, which is add hot seller. Hit the 3 dots, delete.
Then save it again.
And then save up top. So now we're only going to do it once. We're going to put them in the campaign. Now let's if you guys want SMS to go out to the person when they check their values or cash, we have an SMS check values SMS campaign. I deliberately didn't put it in here by default because many of you were afraid to do texting with the new text laws in January. So I made it optional, and I have a training in the training course about activating the SMS. So if you don't follow here and you forget, in the training course for the setup for the sellers in the fast track course, there's a short training video to do exactly what I'm going to do here. So you can go back and follow it. So in order to add the SMS, somewhere in here, it doesn't have to be, I'll do it at the top one. So see how there's pluses between these boxes? You can decide where you want to put it. I'm going to put it right above, right after the trigger. I'm going to hit the plus, and in the search window, type in the word work, and you'll find an action that's called add to workflow.
Well, I'm thinking, right, but I'm sorry,
Is everybody with me?
I'm still in high level jail. Any idea when I'll ever get out of there? Smarty?
High level jail.
Yeah. My SMS, I'm still shut down.
Oh, yeah. So you may not want to do this, James, right away until you get your SMS up and running.
Yeah. Yeah, you put in a request to get me out of jail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just gotta wait, huh?
Gotta wait it out. And TC's in the same boat. TC, we got to get your SMS activated. It's been in the chute.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to create a task in the workflow that's called add to workflow. And then when you do that, it says, what workflow do you want to put them into? Like this workflow section. If you type in SMS, there's a workflow that's called cash offer SMS, or I'm sorry, check website SMS. That's the one you want.
Since I'm still in jail, it's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna.
I wouldn't put them in, James, because the system's going to start sending texts and you're going to get errors because it'll blow up.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Don't do the SMS unless you have an A2P ready to go texting system.
And they penalize you even more for trying to send them out when you're banned, correct?
Yep. Oh, yeah. They don't like when you're trying to send them out and you're banned. So all I did, guys, was I added this add to workflow step. I named it because you could give it a name. I just called it add to SMS campaign. And I picked the checked website SMS campaign. So now that's going to put them in that SMS to get a text message.
It says cash offer SMS. Is that the same campaign?
You don't want the cash offer one. You want the checked one.
Okay, so it's called Checked website?
Type in the word check when you're searching for workflows,
Okay.
and you'll see checked website SMS campaign.
Oops.
Can you show me again, create cash offer hot lead, what you did?
Yeah, one sec. Did you find it, Sandy?
Yes, thank you.
And then hit save action at the bottom. So the cash offer hot lead, all you want to make sure is it has a pipeline and a stage. And the pipeline you want to put them in is the seller lead cash offer pipeline. And the stage it's in is a hot lead because they just checked their cash offer value.
How did you get to that screen you're at now with the pipeline? Where did you click on to get there?
Right here, the
Oh, below the, okay, so now we're in the next box below it. Okay.
you just want to make sure that your pipeline and your pipeline stage is set.
Got it.
So when they get to this stage, it's going to create a pipeline event. It's going to put a card on the pipeline.
And then the bottom where it says add field, those, neither one of those are marked. Is that correct? Scroll
Where-
down. Under status scroll. Yeah, okay. Those are both gray. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Also, Smarty, when you get a chance, when you're showing this, could you just kind of show us from email okay down, just so I can see how it compares to what I have on the left-hand side there?
Everybody should have the same rest of the stuff on the left, Tim.
Well, you had us delete something just now on the
Oh,
bottom.
all I did, Tim, is if you go to the very bottom, the far left on the bottom where it says check email and the internal notice.
I took that SMS out.
If you take that opportunity board out, there was one that was creating an opportunity at the bottom.
Okay.
I just got rid of that.
This is also where you add the verbiage that Josh gave us, right? In that seller email.
Yeah, in the seller campaign, this is where I put the email that Josh gave us right here. And I got rid of the button.
What button?
In that email, there was a button that says schedule a call.
Oh, okay.
So I just got rid of it. 'Cause, you know, to Josh's point, if they're communicating on email, why complicate it and say, give them
Agreed.
what to do in the email.
Yeah.
You want them to reply A, B, C, D.
Right. Ironically, I went into where you told me to go to put my email signature and all that, and still all my emails come out regards and nothing below it. My name doesn't come up. I'm not sure why. But I guess we can cross that bridge another day.
Yeah, well, I'll get on a one-on-one with you, Andy. We'll look at your stuff.
Hey, here's the email reply. This was the first appointment I've gotten with this, and I'm sharing because to me there's two lessons. Number one, it went from email to in-person appointment. There was no phone, there was no text, there was no anything. And number two, looking at this, I think I did a terrible job in my initial reply, and I still got the appointment. So like, you can still screw stuff up and have success.
Still get your
moving
appointment.
forward. Yeah, moving forward, I could do a better job. So this person replied, "Hello, Josh. We would be looking at C. C is I'm thinking about selling sometime in 2025." Now, obviously, it might make sense for us to change this to say sometime in the next 3 to 6 months so that it doesn't become outdated. So just throwing that out there as I'm reading it back. Regardless, they said C, looking to sell around June timeframe. Thanks, John G. I said, thanks, John. In the meantime, is it okay if we keep you posted on what homes are selling for nearby? Which I think why I said that is I was looking for him to say yes, and then I was going to send a personal video reply showing him that I've set him up in his MLS or in our MLS for notifications of properties, and I was going to show him recent sales. I think that's where I was going with that, but I think this could have been a better reply. Despite that, literally the next email he said, we'll be moving to upstate New York and building on our own land so we can be closer to our family. Maybe we could meet soon to go over things. So he's the one that asked me to meet. I didn't even ask him. I said, that sounds pretty amazing, meaning like them moving upstate to be close to family, etc. Yes, I'd love to meet and go over things. How soon are you thinking? Would later this week sometime or early next make sense? And then the rest of that was just confirming the day and time. And that all happened over email.
Are we saving this as a template or just save? It says save new template or save. I just want to make sure I don't screw it up as we go along.
Tom, you have a question?
Maybe off the subject, so let me just run it by and we can talk about it later. With respect to pipelines, your buyer pipeline is very narrow. In other words, it assumes we already have an engaged buyer. There's a lot of steps that go into the process of getting a buyer to that point. And I just was wondering what your thoughts might be on creating another pipeline to simply, nurture and try and develop an internet buyer to get them to the point where you even get them interested.
Yeah, so my thought was, and there's two parts to the answer, is I get them on the hot buyer board. That's the first stage of the pipeline. Here, let me just show everybody what we're talking about. So in the opportunities here, this is the buyer pipeline. I get them on this board when the buyer has done something, raised their hand some way, letting me know that they are getting to be ready to be in the market for a new home. So that could be anything from, like Josh has said, I do a lot of email. They text me, say, hey, Smarty, my credit's getting really good. I think I'll be ready in about a month or two. My credit score is getting really strong, right? So I see that email coming in or a text. I automatically put them on the hot buyer lead board because now I need to start tracking them. I got 15 buyers, about $2.8 million of opportunity here of buyers that are telling me. So if I look at Daniel Walker, he said to me, I'm coming out of a lease. My lease is over the end of April. I need to start shopping for a home. So he's on my hot buyer list, right? Because I know he's coming out of a lease. His lease expires. Paul said, I'm still saving my next 2 paychecks. I should have enough for a down payment. So I'm thinking sometime in April or May. So I put them on the board. Okay. As soon as they're on the board, I track this on a regular basis. I stay in contact with these people all the time. Text, email, how you doing? How's your credit coming along? When now they raise their hand and say, I'm ready, right? I drag and drop them over here to pre-approval, pending pre-approval. That triggers an alert to my lender. So I have my lender partner that's inside the CRM. My lender, Emmett, gets a text and an email saying Lawrence needs to get pre-approved for his mortgage, and I give him all the details. Now Emmett has the ball to go get him pre-approved. Now we set up inside your CRM some pre-approval email drips. So in the next week, I'm going to bug them a little bit. Like, hey, do you need help getting your income documents? Did you fill out the app? How's it going? For like a 5-day sprint. When Emmett says they're ready, when he goes to get them approved, one of two things can happen with that person. They could be not approved. So sometimes I send it over to Emmett. He goes, oh my God, their credit's a mess. I can't get them approved. He drops them in not approved. Or if they're pre-approved, he drops them into the active shopping. When it goes into active shopping, my team gets notified that we have a pre-approved buyer that's ready to shop. We go out and start doing our shopping. So now we're booking showings. We're out finding a house. When we're in the active shopping, one of two things can happen. They can go under contract at some point. I've had buyers that I had to look at 20 homes before they found one they liked, or we put in 10 offers before we got one accepted. But once we go, I put them over here, and it takes it off of this board and puts them on the under contract to close board. So the active bring them over here, takes them off of this board, and now they're on my contract to close to get them to the settlement table. I also have situations where buyers started shopping with me, and then they put it on hold, right? Sabrina broke her leg. So she's like, I need to get over my broken leg before I go out shopping for houses. She's like, Smarty, let's get back out sometime in May or June, right? Cheryl said, she doesn't want, she was starting to shop, and then she's like, I'm going to wait. My daughter's getting out of college. I'll put me on ice for a couple months. We'll get back out a little bit later. So this is where the on holds come into play. And I'm monitoring these guys because they were pre-approved. They're just not shopping.
So would you consider somebody registering on the website as being a hot buyer?
Yes.
Because
So
we really don't know at that point what they want.
I have two parts of my question or my answers. So if you remember an IDX broker, we had some automations that would say they looked at 3 houses, they looked at 10 houses, they saved 5 houses, right? So if I'm doing a lot of email marketing to buyers and they're up on my website and I see them actually looking at houses, they all deserve to be on the hot buyers board. Okay. So Buying Buddy, Paul is, we're working on a tighter integration with the CRM. I want to have those same automations so that when any buyer is up on my website clicking on homes, they deserve to be on the hot buyers board because they're virtually shopping right now.
All right, I guess maybe I was getting too granular because I'm thinking, okay, when the buyer gets to the website, don't necessarily know the budget yet, even though they're clicking on, the $15 million home on the island. And we don't know their timing, and we don't know if they have a home to sell. That was my thought in like, well, should there be another more granular pipeline to move them to the point where we can actually consider them a hot buyer?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Marty, what he's referring to is in a lot of systems you've got, because what you're doing is going from cold to hot. They're going from a cold lead that you've had no contact with to a hot. In a lot of systems, you'll have a mid stage for someone who's warm. They're not ready to move forward, but they need more attention. I think that's really what Tom's referring to there in that circumstance.
Yeah. So Tom, on that area, like here's an example. We use Listing to Leads. So I run a bunch of house ads on Listing to Leads. So I got 18 buyers clicking on my Dickinson house. So I don't manage those 18 people on the board. They're in my database getting drip campaigns constantly about houses. So I send out those 18, maybe only 3 of them actually clicked on the just listed or just sold and are up on my website looking at houses, right? They're interested. I'm going to send out campaigns to those people. Hey, you're interested in my ad. Would you like to set up a showing for this house? So I'll send out campaigns, blasts, and they're constantly getting texts and emails from me about houses. But I don't put them on this board until they raise their hand and they're actually showing indication that they are hot, right? Because a lot of those people aren't hot. They were just trigger happy looking at an ad and they showed up in your system. Those 18 people, I'll call them and say, I was just playing around, or I was just curious about that house. I'm not interested. I don't want all those people showing up on an opportunity board. Even though they clicked on an ad, to me, clicking on an ad is they're still cold. They're lukewarm because they clicked on an ad, but that's where the automations come in and you send them email, text, campaign blasts, right? I'll send out a text. Hey guys, you want to set up a showing? I'm going to be at the house this weekend, right? And I'm marketing them that way. And then when they raise their hand, then they'd show up on my hot buyer board.
So just let the automation, keep them in contact, wait for them to respond to the automation. Boom. Yeah. Then they get promoted to the hot buyer lead.
That's right. Otherwise, I'd have like 400 people in the pipeline that are just sitting there, and I don't know if they're ever going to do anything because they filled out a form or something on a Zillow form or something, or came in. I get so many leads on buyers, but until they indicate, hey, I'm interested, and they're either going to do that by checking my website, saving houses, or physically reaching out to me, and me reaching out, they replied to an email or text and say, hey, my husband and I are pretty close. We have a couple more months of savings. We're going to be ready. They've raised their hand, say they're ready. I'm going to put them on the board.
Smarty, I agree wholeheartedly. The people that are looky-loos on Facebook that are clicking, just click happy, because I've got people that have clicked on 6 of my Facebook ads through Listing to Lead. So and totally different price points. So they're really not looking. So I want to wait till they start engaging with the emails we're sending them, the house searches and the just listed and just reduced, because you're right. Now they're showing a higher level of interest in what's going on. Much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's almost like it's the same thing with the sellers. We send all the communication to sellers until they raise their hand, and they raise their hand either by texting us back or clicking on a button in an email to check their house values or offers. They're the people I want to engage with.
Thank you for that, guys.
Yeah, versus like taking every expired and putting them on the hot seller board because they were expired listing. And then, then you have, so I just go through the boards. If you guys aren't familiar with it, when you get the contract to close, right? So this is my Sheridan Street that's in the inspection phase. It goes from under contract to inspection to appraisal to underwriting to closed. And I move them through this progression. When they go to close, you mark it as closed, right? There's a closed action on the opportunity. So when this closes, I go down here and change the status. Instead of close, it's called won. I think we can rename this. In fact, I think we could all rename this. So I'll show everybody how to rename it on Wednesday. But I'll mark it as a won, and then that's what updates your dashboards. So if I come back here and look at my dashboard, for this month, I have 4 million in opportunities. I'm tracking 14 deals, and I have $595,000 closed. This is 2 transactions I did so far this year that are closed. If I come to the opportunity board, you also have your listing board. So I have $1.8 million of active listings. These are all my houses that have for sale signs in the front yard, but no offers yet. And these are my houses that are in prep. So this is a Zudelia, or this is a Zoom Casa, and this is my trade-in with Annie Mac. And the guy's doing some work to his house right now. I have 1.9 million in the prep side. These 14 over here are people that told me they're going to sell the house to me. Like Randy wants me to sell all these houses, but we haven't done anything to move it forward. We're meeting. Tom, my partner Tom, went to one of the houses, and we're going to get these under contract, and then we'll move them under either the prep or the active listing when we move them forward. But all these guys are like Stephanie said, she wants me to sell her house, but they're probably not going to sell till September. So the seller raised their hand and indicated, we want to sell this year, Smarty, and you're going to be our agent. But they're on the potential listing side because we haven't made it happen yet.
Where on the contact side do we click to create an opportunity?
So a couple ways to do it. You can do it right here, add opportunity on the board, or when you're on a contact. So if I grab a contact like Melvin, down at the bottom here, you have opportunities right here. So you just open this up, you say add an opportunity, and you tell it what board you want to be on. So they're on the hot cash offer, hot lead board. Or maybe they tell me they want to sell their house, potential listing. I tell it where it's going in. And then I always usually put in for sellers, I put in the address, right? So when I look at the board, I know which is what. And then I always put the value. So if it's a house, I'd look at what the list price was, and I'll put so that's why if you look at my opportunities, they all have values. See how they all have like $5 million of potential. So I could have a good year here if I, get all these listed as they're telling me they want to list. Start moving them on. Does that make sense, everybody? So you either create an opportunity on the contact, or you can just click this button here and say create an opportunity. You pick your contact, right? You give it a name. whatever you want. You tell what board you want. They're on the listing appointments board. We booked an appointment. And then what's the potential value? And that's what puts it on the board. Chris?
This is rewind the tape. This goes way back, but where was that Falcon thing on the iList? I can't find it.
Oh, just go to the very top right corner where your logout window is, and then you click the down arrow. So if I come up into iList, see where it says Smarter the Realtor up top? You hit this little down arrow next to your name, your email, and there's Falcon Beta right here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, you want to be there at 4:00 on Wednesday. Joe just confirmed we're going to have Joe Peterson doing a deep dive on Falcon at 4:00 with our team. And this will replace Friday, because Friday I'm doing my anniversary trip with my wife. So no masterminds on Friday, but we'll make the mastermind Wednesday with Joe.
How do I see last Fridays? I missed it. I don't see on the 3 things you have in there for I see Mondays and I see other classes, but I don't see any of the Fridays.
Yeah, so just so you know the process, guys, it takes a couple days, business days, to get them up on the site.
Oh.
Because we're storing them on YouTube, and YouTube blocks my videos if I show any sensitive data. And Friday we showed the contacts quite a bit, as we did here. Right. So I have JP, when the process now is after Friday's call or any of the calls, like after today's call, I upload it to the drive, and then JP needs a day or two to edit and mask the whole video for us. And then I put it on YouTube and put it on the masterclass.
Isn't there a way you can show that as private or something like that to get around that?
No, I put them all as private, Tom, and they still block them.
So do we all automatically get the Falcon if we belong to the iList?
Yep. Yeah, Falcon's the new iList interface.
I see. Did you cover that in a session that I missed?
No, Joe did. So Joe's.
Oh yeah, you said that. Okay, I'll go back on there.
Weeks, he's had dedicated sessions on this.
Hey, Smarty, you weren't going to do the community stuff today?
Oh no. Yeah. So what Rob's talking about, I'm running out of time because, guys, I have a Guinness waiting for me at my Irish pub. So I got to go and celebrate some St. Patty's.
Happy St. Patty's, everybody.
Yeah, happy St. Patty's, everybody. But what I did for everybody, there's going to be a new course in. There's a new training. There's several new trainings that are going up probably tomorrow morning when I wake up, because I'm going out after we hang up here. But one is, I did training. If you guys have not set up your reputation management yet, you're missing out. So in this CRM, if you go to settings and you come down here, you'll see, not settings. Go out of settings. Reputation right here. This is where, like, I just got 2 5-star reviews this morning. Right? So this is where I put out these requests. So these are my 2 clients. We closed on their house last week, and I sent them a text and an email kindly asking for a Google review, and they both complied. So on the reviews, this was at Tanya today gave me a 5-star, and Albert gave me a 5-star. So there's a training that will show you exactly how to set this up. You want to set it up. It's real easy. So I'll have that in the how-to course. The how-to course, if Harry's on, you're gonna search for a review, right? So it's like how to get a Google review or how to get a review, because this also works with Facebook reviews. The other one that I did inside your CRM, if you look in your CRM, like I'll look at my boy Campbell. So Campbell, if anybody looks in their CRM, I dropped a new page in your website. Not in your website, but outside your website. It's called About Us.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll go take a look at it.
Training course that I get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, guys. So give me at least in the morning. I'll put it up there for you. I shot it this afternoon. But
Now
basically,
that depends upon how many Guinness you have
How many
tonight, whether
Guinness?
you'll be up at 3 in the morning.
That's my problem, kid. Well, no matter how many Guinness I have, doesn't dictate when I wake up. I still wake up. But what I did here, guys, was this is like if I go into Smarter the Realtor, I show you how to build an about page like Bob Milloway did. So I have my bio, meet the team.
Ooh.
Look who's there, Sandy.
That's where we submitted our stuff for. Got it.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So in the course, I'm going to have a link to all of our stuff. So there'll be a spreadsheet. And this is what you guys put in.
It looks really good, by the way.
Does it look good?
And then you'll show us how to put each other in
Yep.
ours.
It's a step by step how to build the page, and take the spreadsheet and grab the circle picture from Sandy and put it in, and Bob and Jonathan. And what I had to do, guys, Sandy, if you look at your bio, everybody had different length bios, so it looked really bad. Like Sandy's was long, Jonathan was little, Bob, and it just looked horrible.
So you synopsize.
So I went into ChatGPT. I counted how many characters Jonathan had in his bio, and I said update Sandy's bio to do just this many characters, and it just summarized Sandy.
Perfect.
Right. So now it's all aligned, and this is all tied to your website. So if I go into see Vegas Homes, now it's going to, actually, this is still going to this one. I didn't do Sandy yet. Let me see if I did Jonathan, or I did Bob maybe. Yeah, it takes you right to the website.
That's awesome.
So
now, Smarty, we need to be able to create a referral link there so they know who sent them that business.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So the whole idea here, guys, is we're getting super Google juice, because you're going to have backlinks. If we set this up right and we're all referring each other on the about page, like here's our network of agents, Google's going to look at us with all these backlinks to your website all over the country. You're going to be really starting to rank on page 1 of Google.
That's awesome. How did you get that AI certified agent banner? I don't recall having that when they gave me all.
That's in the resources. If you go into CRM, into the course, Sandy, it's in page 5. There's a section. There's a Google Drive they give you with all the assets.
Got it. Okay.
And you can download.
Did you finish that, by the way? I didn't finish it.
I finished all of 2, and I'm about halfway through 3, and I stopped.
Me too. Halfway through 3.
So I just got to go back in.
Yeah, me too. Just curious. Okay.
So we have this, and then what Rob's talking about is I'm also going to give you guys my new template community page.
Oh, good.
I did deep research with Croc, which is XAI. Croc, and I really had it research the optimized number of words and layout of a community page for a realtor for top SEO strength. And it gave me a complete report of how to lay it out. So it also, like, the community page has sections for the schools, safety, restaurants, things to do in the community. It has a whole bunch of stuff on the page. So I'm going to build it for me, and I'll build it in a way that I'll do the same training. I'll have the community page, and then I show you how to put it on your website, so then you can start using that template for all your communities.
Have you looked into the SEO add-on that Go High Level's offering now?
Yeah, so I just started looking into it. So what Jonathan's talking about is Go High Level just added a whole SEO engine inside the CRM that we're going to be able to analyze your website. It'll tell you what, how many backlinks you have, where you have improvements. It's going to do all the reporting on SEO right inside the CRM.
Speaking of community pages, Bob's community page is awesome. He's got that market stats with the little icons.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's what I have on mine, Sandy. That's a Buying Buddy widget.
And then the sub area with the active, and then the days of the market average. How do you do all this? Do you have any
that's going to be part of my training, because that's going to be
awesome.
my
because it looks sharp.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Smarty, any idea when they're going to start giving us the email spam rating that they show you on the templates? That's going to be added. They keep teasing that.
Yeah, that's coming soon. I was on a town hall meeting, and the head of the email guys were talking that it's right around the corner. So that's going to be awesome. Once they start helping us with the warming, Ultimately, we won't need instantly because they'll do warming inside of Go High Level.
Cool.
And then
That'd
do
be
all the
great.
spamming stuff. Yeah.
And
Not
I
to
still
be-
have 6 community stuff for the courses. Do I need to send you a text message to remind you of that?
To do what? What was that?
Mine is still not fixed. I still got 6 courses.
So yeah, no, it's that there's a ticket in Go High Level. So the developers of Go High Level have to clean that stuff out. So that was a Go High Level. I baffled them all, Campbell. So I showed them. I'm like, look, Campbell only has 3 courses according to his record, but when he logs in, he has 6, and they don't know why. So it's an idiosyncrasy of Go.
So I'm the problem child again.
Yeah, well, it's not you. It's not. Unfortunately, it's not you. I think there's about more than half of you guys see 6.
I still have 6 also.
Yeah. So it is a ticket. So the development team's looking at it. They're going to clean it all out, but ultimately you want to just get to 3.
And any info on the VAs from India or wherever?
Oh, I hired them. So we'll have more. We'll have a good report for you guys. But I got them from Ghana. Tom did all the interviewing. I did some interviewing, but he did the bulk of it. We hired 3 VAs from Ghana that are so far they're really good, and we're having them do a test. They're setting up the CRM for me. You know, I set up a sub account for each of them, and I signed them up as a realtor. So I want them to go soup the nuts, set up the whole website and everything. So
awesome.
We'll see how they do, but they're gaining their skills.
That's great. But we're going to have the opportunity to hire them for our own personal, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And not just necessarily for the CRM, but for other things.
Yep.
Awesome.
Smarty, are you going to put more people on your agent list? Because you only have 3 right now.
Oh yeah, on this page, absolutely. I just did 3 for the training, Sue, but in fact, I show you how you do it. You hit the box, you hit 3 more, put them on, hit 3 more. Whoever signed up, I'm going to have you guys on my page.
You got all the good looking people on there.
Yeah.
Top 3. Look at that. Look at that.
Well, I know that's why I'm not
A
there.
token pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
that
Will we have the links to
connection,
that?
the connection that you showed earlier for the iList, is that in a training, in a short training on its own? I was at Superior Court when you were doing that.
Oh, you mean just to get the iList?
No, remember where you just told you were going over the drop down and the workflow, that whole thing. It's just like 30 minutes ago.
Oh, so right here, when you're in iList, if you just go here to where your email is at the top,
Okay.
you hit there's a little drop down arrow to the right of it, and then you see Falcon Beta.
No, that wasn't it. I know what Falcon is. You were talking about it was when you were setting up the SMS or the email.
Oh,
in the work.
Yeah, there is training in there how to hook up the SMS.
Okay, cool. And I think I've already done it, but I just want to go back and make sure.
Charles, hey, this is Campbell. If you want me to walk you through it, call me. I'll give you my number right now.
Dude, I love that. Throw that in the chat. I'll copy it and
I'm sending it to you right now. That's my direct number. If you want to call me, I'll walk you through that template real quick.
So Smarty, have you deleted all of the headers out of your emails? Are you sending only text for all of your emails now?
I ended up moving all the headers out of all my emails. I took the time.
Okay. I know Josh has said he had
Bob and I both made that decision about a month ago. We're like, let's try it without them. Because we were finding a lot of them going into the promotions folder. And Google and all, they look at those headers and why it looks professional. It looks like a spammy, but it looks like a promotional email.
Do you make your signature? Does the signature matter? Because the signature is also like I forget where we get it from, but
I left mine in there. I have like the bling queue.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just left that bling queue in the bottom, and I've been okay. I'm getting in the inboxes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any word on the lead service?
We had a call today. That's all I'll say.
All right. Marty hasn't sounded so optimistic about that, but I know it's just a matter of time before. Pops out.
All right, let's let the man.
So, Smarty, are you actually telling me? Smarty, are you actually telling me that the JFK files are going to be out before the lead services? Because they're dropping JFK tomorrow.
JFK and
All of it.
MLK, right?
Epstein. We still got Epstein to go.
And Epstein, yeah.
And remember, Epstein is the lawsuits or the arrest. They're not going to bring that out until they're making the arrest, guys. You ain't going to hear any of that till then. You can't take the case.
I want to know the real MLK and the
JFK. They said there's
JFK and
100,000 documents they're dropping tomorrow, is what I heard.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so interesting.
I can't wait. Yep. And then we're going to get the Butler, the stuff behind Butler, but that's going to be an arrest thing too, Campbell.
Oh, dude, when you find out that kid had, I think they're saying now, been with it, 20 cell phones that Crook had. Yep. The one up in PA. Yeah.
Oh,
and they scrubbed his whole house.
Connected to Washington on that deal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for that to open up.
Yeah, and all the international connections.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's getting fun.
I don't know about that. I haven't heard about that one.
There's some dirty things there, boys.
Cold Guinea is waiting for me. So
hey, Smarty, I'm not going to get ahead of your Guinness, but I do want to set up a 15-minute just to kind of talk the SMS world with you again. So I'll find some calendar time.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because I really believe there's a real slow trickle on that, like we said in the early hours of this call. I think that's some value, so I want to walk through that with you.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
Cheers, everybody.
Enjoy your beer. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Send a text message right out the gate. That way you get that little annoying stop promotion thing out there, and then wait like a week or so after they've deleted that email or that text message, because then it will look like an organic email.
Oh, I want to say one more thing.
Organic text message.
I want to say something about email, and I know that I'm not the guy maybe about this, but is there you were talking about emails when you send, is there a way that the system can tell, hey, they didn't open up that last email, so still send that email until it opens up?
Oh yeah, there is. That's part of the training now. That's my new Go High Level just added it to the campaign. So when I send out like a campaign with my blog, when you build the campaign, it says, do you want to send out a follow-up if they don't open the email? And then you say, yeah, give them 2 days. If they don't open it, it'll send it out again.
Is there a training on how do you send out a blog?
When you call me, I'll show you that also.
Yeah, we can cover that a little bit after Joe on Wednesday. I'll show everybody how to do that. That's a really cool feature.
Is there any way we can send a blog? Can you PDF a blog? How do I do it outside
You do the blog as a campaign, Sandy. You build a campaign, an email campaign. You send out a snippet of the blog, not the whole blog, not the PDF. You just take a summary of the blog in an email and say, hey, I just wrote this beautiful blog. Here's a little what it's about. Click here to read it. And then there's a button that takes them up to your blog.
Got it.
You want them to go, you click the button to go to your website for Google.
Yes. Got it.
You're just linking it to them. Cool.
All right. See you guys.
Okay.
Later.
Bye.